right now in our market, we have a huge influx of first-time home buyers because rates are low. And what that means is the interest rate that you have to pay on the loan that you take from a bank or a mortgage broker really is a lot lower than what we saw in the past. Right now, they're hovering under about 4%. Whereas in the past, for those of you who bought decades ago, the standard ended up being closer to 15 or 20%. So 4% really is a great deal. It is a good time to get in the market. Prices are still a little bit lower, but I found we don't talk enough about the real estate process and people don't know what to expect. It doesn't need to be as intimidating as you might think, especially if you're working with a realtor whom you trust and is taking care of you. It's not just about a sale. So the first way to get started is to chat with a realtor who can set you up with a mortgage broker or a lender. You don't want to just necessarily go into any bank or talk to anyone. You want a lender who knows what they're doing and has actively participated in many real estate transactions. You don't want to be a test case for them. One misconception out there is that you need 25% down, 10% down in order to buy a home. That's just not the case. You can buy a property with as little as 3.5% down. Of course, if you have a little bit more money, it makes sense to go ahead and tap into your savings and decrease your monthly payment. It also makes you a stronger offer if you end up having to get into a multiple offer situation. Knock on wood, hopefully that won't be the case, but that also doesn't mean that the door is slammed in your face because I've won many multiple offers with my buyers, even first-time buyers. So remember, 3.5% down, you're able to do that. What you do is you start with a wish list. You go out with your realtor, you take a look at the available inventory, and once you find the right one, we go ahead and write up an offer. This is the newest real estate contract for residential real estate. And essentially what it has, and this is a blank one, it includes all of the terms that you'll discuss in a real estate transaction. So your purchase price, the closing date, things that are included in the sale here, like the window treatments, the blinds, that sort of thing, the appliances, which all add up very quickly. And then there's something called earnest money, which is essentially a show of good faith. So once you submit that offer, and if the contract is accepted, things are negotiated out, you'll turn in your earnest money. And that's really held kind of like a deposit on the house. And if you consult your attorney and you adhere to all of the guidelines and follow through with the transaction, that gets credited off your down payment when you go ahead and purchase the home. During that attorney review period, which is after you have this contract negotiated, there's 5 business days that you have to get out of the transaction if you want. During that time, you'll have an inspector come through the home. As a buyer, you have to pay for that inspection. It's $300 to $400 depending on the size of the property. What's good is the inspector's working directly for you to make sure there are no surprises. I want to forewarn you because there are going to be issues that come up in your home inspection. The washer won't work, there will be birds in the attic, or possibly something even worse than that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be a deal breaker. You can work through that and possibly negotiate out the issues and get a credit or have the seller fix it prior to you taking ownership. Houses are a lot like people. They have their quirks and their issues. So just keep all of that in the back of your mind. What's really nice about that 5-day attorney review is if you change your mind for whatever reason, you're able to get out of the contract. So first-time buyers, it's good to know that you have that safety net where you're not necessarily locked into something if you change your mind or if something comes up in your home inspection. When you actually get through the home inspection resolution period, you have about 45 to 60 days until your home closes. The closing day is when you go ahead and sign all the paperwork for your mortgage and that property becomes yours. So about 45 to 60 days from start to finish when you start looking at the home and you write up that contract to when it actually becomes your property. So good to know because it gives you a little bit more time to save. We had 30-day closings in the past, but we had new lending laws go into effect in the beginning of October. So expect about a month and a half until you can close on your property. I know that's a lot to take in, but I just wanted you guys to have a little bit of an overview and what to expect and to know that you don't need 20% down. If you're thinking about buying in a year or two, it's still a good idea to talk with a realtor and a mortgage broker ahead of time to try and find out what you should be doing to get yourself in place to be ready to buy and to make that big step into home ownership, which is a great, great, great feeling, and it's exciting. So feel free to let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to get started with trying to find a home. I would love to help you. Happy holidays. Talk to you soon.